the couple was married, well, their friends that lived around, they wanted to give them a chivaree, and that consisted of catching them at night before bedtime, but they would go to the house where the newlyweds were staying, and they'd start banging on wash tubs or buckets and fire a shot in the air from a gun. And usually the young married couple knew that they were planning it that night and suspected it and were halfway ready for it. So they used to have well, it was kind of a rule, I guess, or a way that if the groom got out and fired a shot in the air before the ones who were going to chivaree him, well, they were not supposed to come on and chivaree them. But that was kind of the way they had it set up, the custom. But if they came and chivareed them and hollered and hooped and made a lot of noise around, and if the young married couple didn't have some treat for them, like candy or apples or any kind of thing that's edible, hand in hand, and if they didn't have some treat for them, well, they would a lot of the time they would get him on a log and have a long pole, and they'd get him, ride him on a rail, they call it. They used to have rail fences, and they'd get him on there and take him. Sometimes they'd dump him into a pond or a creek if it was nearby, because he didn't have any trees.
So they had a hook, and they put him like on the fence rail?
Yeah,
and drug them?
Or a pole or something
that
he sit on.
And it was called riding on a rail?
Yeah. And anyway, it was all in good humor, and I imagine sometimes it wasn't.
Well, I've done a couple. There was somebody that, when I was talking about doing it up at Dee's Country Kitchen, somebody was there and was saying the family didn't talk for like 40 years, something that happened in the chivalry. But yeah, it was I think there was more than one gun that was
well,
on that one.
I didn't go to very many of them, because I didn't go much of any place back then. Just me, and I lived with my mother, who was a widow, and I didn't have any way to go. But I was at my own chivaree, and I was at my brother's chivaree there at my home place, which was his home place too. The friends came in and chivareed him, and his wife, and all, and I went to one or two neighbors' chivarees. But that's all there was to it. They just had a good time and visited them after they had the...
So you actually had a chivalry when you got married? You actually had a chivalry?
Yes,
you and your husband?
Yes, that was on...
Was it mostly family, or did you have friends come?
Don't remember, but that was a little bit of both. A few friends, I don't remember how many came, but...
Did anybody get thrown in the pond?
Curtis was from Oklahoma, and his mother had moved back here and lived up the creek from where I lived. So some of his, I know one brother and his wife were there from Oklahoma, and my brother and some of the neighbors. We had neighbors then. So that was about all. Curtis and I, we had got some, I forget what we had got, some candy or cookies or some thing to treat them. And Curtis's brother that was there, he teased Curtis quite about going to take him, throw him in the pond or something, but they didn't do that. So that was about all there was to it, as far as I can tell.
Well, that's cool. Thank you.